right, we are live again for Tip Thursdays with Jeremiah. If you don't know me yet, I am Alfyn, your local realtor here in Reno and Sparks. And before we dive in and Jeremiah introduces himself, before we talk anything real estate related, I definitely want to just take a second because if you're watching from Northern Nevada, then you already know we're going through a tough week, right? We're going through a tough week with the bug and stallion fires burning up Washoe County. And so our thoughts are with everyone who's been evacuated. And definitely a huge, huge thank you to the firefighters and first responders that are working around the clock. So
Mhm.
thank you so much. So before we start, go ahead, Jeremiah, introduce yourself.
Yeah, it's true. I hope everyone that's been, forcefully evacuated got home safe and nothing happened because that's so scary. Oh my gosh. But yeah, my name's Jeremiah. I'm a loan officer with Guild Mortgage.
Yay! And where do you serve as Jeremiah? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
All of Nevada and all of California, the whole
Okay.
state for both.
See, so if you guys know anybody, North or all of Nevada and California.
All in Nevada, all of California. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and then also, if anyone needs resources, we can drop some of the links in the comments. I know there's emergencywasher.com. I have a map that you can also see like what's happening. And then there's also like a watch duty app as well. So after this live, I can go ahead and link in the comments some of the useful links or up for updates as to what's happening.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. I mean, there's so many resources right now.
Yeah, and then there's something happening in the background where even Nevada Realtors, the associations, is trying to build to give some relief to affected members of the community. So we may need to ask for some guidance or help from you guys, anybody watching, who would want or need that help. So I'll keep you all posted once that's going. That way, us as Nevada realtors can give back to the community as well.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I love that you guys are taking that initiative.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the go signal, and once we get the go signal, I'll be posting on the internet. We will just need people to apply for it, and then we'll be able to give some help.
Yeah, so apply if you need it.
Yes, we'll definitely post it up once it's going. So anybody watching, definitely keep a lookout and share to anyone that needs the help.
Love it.
So definitely two things we want to kind of cover today, and respectfully with everything that's going on. I know people are still curious, right? Reno Sparks market update with Jeremiah. I want to talk about like financing. What's the difference now with everything that's happening and the insurance side. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, Jeremiah?
Yeah, like what is happening right now? So like everyone wants to know like what's happening with interest rates, right? So like interest rates are just bouncing around all over the place right now because of what's going on in the world, right? And I know a lot of that, just that sentiment alone doesn't really give us a lot of information, but truly what they're basically saying is like there's no real way to predict where interest rates overall are going to go depending upon how long this, war in Iran continues. But there is some great data that has come out recently related to the inflation reports. And
Mhm.
overall, the numbers were basically kind of in line with expectations. And so that means that next month at the next Fed meeting, there most likely will not be an increase on the rate, which is good. The overnight rate that we talk about, where that dictates a lot of different types of lending. So what that overall can mean for a buyer or a seller too is if they're saying that there's the numbers are looking a little bit better, They know where they're kind of going overall with those metrics, despite what's happening without, or outside of the US and everything else. That means that the rates that are sitting where they are right now are most likely the same rates that we'll see next month. So I don't suspect, there's going to be much change in the actual interest rate for mortgages over the next, 30, 40 days or so, unless something happens during that time frame.
Perfect. Yeah, because some buyers, ask like, will this affect the rate?
Mhm.
What would be your easiest explanation to that?
Yeah, like it's very confusing, right? Because
Yeah.
when they talk about like rate hikes and cutting rates, basically all that means, and not to get too into it, right? Because it can be a lot, but basically it just means that in big money with the bigger banks, when they adjust that interest rate, it adjusts how much the financing costs are for like other types of lending, like credit cards and auto loans and student loans and personal loans and small business loans and those kinds of things, but it doesn't actually directly impact the rate for mortgages. What will happen though is depending on all the reports that come out with inflation and the job market and unemployment and the cost of gas and all these things, those are the metrics that move mortgage rates more so than just this one rate that we're talking about that affects other types of loans.
Perfect. Okay, so another thing, especially right now, right? We have active stuff going on as far as people going under
Mhm.
contract, whatnot. If they're under contract and a fire is active somewhere nearby, what happens then with lending
Uh,
and insurance?
Yeah,
Tip-
nothing happens on the lending side unless something happens, right? But I have heard that if there are wildfires that are known to your insurance company that are occurring at the moment or just did, that can impact your insurance policy,
Mm,
which then can impact your loan approval. But on the loan side, there's nothing specifically that happens, which is
okay,
good.
good. Yeah. And then let's say for existing homeowners, right? If you're insured and the home wasn't damaged at all, I'm sure this is something people would probably think, like, does that change their mortgage at all? Or,
Yeah. Yeah, like if you think that, all of a sudden, like all the people in Cold Springs now, right, to be sensitive to that, because the fire got so close, I would not be surprised if insurance companies, once they get wind of that information, start reaching out to people that live in that area and discussing, like, maybe you need, like, a fire insurance, piece in your insurance policy overall, and what is that going to cost, how much is it going to increase your monthly mortgage payment if your mortgage is escrowed, meaning you pay those taxes and insurance in your payment. So those are the things that can change overall, but on the loan side it's kind of good to know that it's kind of like the tale of old times, right? Like as long as you're paying your bills, like no one knows. So as long as you continue to make your mortgage payment, the loan really doesn't get involved at all with these kinds of situations, unless something actually happens to the property or really close to the property that can impact like your insurance, your HOA, or stuff like that.
okay. And do you think like with people house hunting at the moment, what are some questions you think they should be asking with everything that's happening to better their decision and to still feel confident? So it may
Yeah.
not be in that area at the moment, but if they're looking at surrounding areas, because I feel like where it's Sparks now, right? Pyramid and in the valleys, Cold Springs area. Well, if they're still kind of looking, let's say Sparks, what are some things that, you would think you would suggest buyers need to ask?
Yeah, like if you are looking in any area, right? Like I think it's always good to make sure that you can get insurance that is affordable on that property, right? A lot of things are coming up with like the roof ages, like on homes, and like have they been replaced, and like if so when, and like da 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 da, right?
Mm,
So I definitely, if I was a buyer, be asking about like the age of the roof, when it was last replaced, if they knew. And then I'd also try and make sure that if there is like a lot, that's like, the on the property, right, or next to it, and you have like sagebrush or like all these things on there, there is a thing in insurance called defensible space, where you basically around your actual home can clear out things to then prevent, like if you had like a bunch of trees or bushes like right by your house and those catch fire,
Mm,
right, then it's a good chance your home could catch fire. So insurance looks at that as, if you have less stuff, less debris, less vegetation by the actual property structure, that you might be able to get a different type of policy. A lot of that doesn't apply to like more, urban areas, where you
mm.
have a lot of homes that are close together, or all in communities, that kind of thing. That's, I would say, more for if you've got some lot land and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So a couple things, that it just to keep that confidence going with home buying, there's still things that we can definitely discuss and talk about to make sure you're still confident with that home buying process.
Mhm.
Um, okay,
Absolutely.
perfect. Any challenges you're seeing right now as far as like concern wise? Or do you think there's been a little bit of shift or more people are wanting to get in the market? What are you thinking?
Yeah, interestingly, overall, what we have seen from the beginning of the year to like 8.5 months in is, I mean, we all talked about it many times, but we've seen, interest rates change. We've seen the cost of gas change. And then new studies are coming out about the tariffs, which I think are really interesting. And they've basically shown that the tariffs from 2025 only increased costs of everything, basically. They did not do what they were intended to do, kind of thing. So we're starting to see some overall changes in the government system and over, the layout of the land, if you will, on how they're managing all of that stuff. And that's causing, like ripple effects in the market and instability, and then all the things that are happening in the political climate. So from the beginning of the year to now, there definitely has been a subtle change in, the cost of mortgages.
Mm,
And then I feel like with buyers too, like we kind of had like a freeze. And a lot of people held their feet, just because it's not maybe necessarily feeling like this could be a great moment in time, but it actually very much so is, because I feel, when you look at homes, they've been sitting, for 10 days or 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 days. There's a lot of opportunity in those kinds of situations if you are a buyer and like poised, to make a move.
100%. Also, depending on the location and price point, things are moving fast in certain
Mhm.
areas, like multiple offers scenarios. However, like you said, there's still opportunity in the homes that are sitting, and there's still a few there, but not a lot of inventory, is what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Is what I'm definitely seeing, but if you think about it, you know, we compare price point from the year before, we're up 9% about with our median home price. So that's a big difference. So if we continue moving, because based on economy, right? What's happening currently? Jobs is still up there. Jobs are still adding. People are still relocating here in Northern Nevada. A lot of my potential clients, they're all from out of state.
Mhm.
Some of them are, right, relocating up to work in USA Parkway. Our Airbnbs, our guests are from out of state, coming here for a couple months because of work. So it's just really showing, like, the opportunity that we have here in Northern Nevada. So, as to going back to what Jeremiah says, it's a great time because I don't see a pause in like or downshift of the economy due to growth, right?
No, yeah, I don't think that'll happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
Thank God. But
That
yeah, there's lots of opportunity for sure, and on either side, if you're a seller or a buyer.
Absolutely. I mean, today's update is a little, sensitive to the what's happening in our community for sure. But we want to make sure we're hopping on, giving some live update as far as what we're looking at. And if you or anybody you know want some input, definitely drop it in the comments below. Jeremiah, where can people find you and message you?
Yeah, everywhere. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. You can text me, call me, email me.
There's a critical alert. It says tornado warning. Did you get that?
No. Oh, you better run.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
scary. I wonder what's going on.
It is. Well, if you have any questions, sorry, I was like waiting for your phone to
Mine
start.
didn't do
Yep.
it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not meant to be saved.
Well, I'm currently in
Oh,
in Fernley at the moment, so I'm not
maybe
sure.
that's why.
Maybe,
But
but yeah, we're happy to answer any questions. I know people are, have questions, and we're here to answer them. And I know there's some doubt. Did you hear that? It's another phone over there.
oh no. Oh no.
I love how it's happening on live.
I know right
But
now.
that's the joys of live. I'm sure everyone's getting alerts as well, but we're here for you. If you need resources, we'd be happy to give them to you as well. I'll hop back onto this live to drop it in the comments. And if you ever want to hop on, we go live on Facebook, YouTube, and we're also on LinkedIn. So definitely check us out. Share to whoever needs to hear this. And Jeremiah is so knowledgeable. If you have questions about how it's going to look like, insurance and stuff like that, definitely reach out. He'll be more than happy to answer your questions there. But for market updates, how homes are trending, that's me.
Yeah, reach out to Alpin. She'll help you with everything that you need, and then I will do the same.
Home wise, market wise,
Everything.
purpose wise is him.
She's in the one-stop shop over here. But yeah, just give us a call. I know that it's like really intimidating, but it is just really straightforward. You just send in some info or give it to me. We get your documents, and then we just make a plan, and that's all it is. And it's free, which is great.
Absolutely. And stay tuned for that relief thing I was talking about in the beginning. Once that rolls out, we'll hop back on. I'll post that up on the socials. We'll would love to help however many we can.
All right, my friends. Well, let's do it.